million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. Today, look around America. We see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it.
Peace and blessings, everybody.
And are not afraid to say it. That's right. It's Black Westchester presents the People Before Politics radio show, episode 400. This is our 400th episode. Been giving you that real talk for the community since August 3rd, 2014. Got me, AJ Woodson, my man, my partner in crime, Damon K. Jones. We're going to have a lot of fun today. In the second hour, we're going to have some guests come on, say a couple of words or whatever. I invited a bunch of people, not sure who's coming, but we'll see. Going to say a couple of words, 5 minutes or so. Oh, the doctor's in the building. The doctor's in the building.
Yo, AJ, Damon, what up, yo?
Yo,
what's happening? Yo, I'm good. I can tell you, I can barely see myself. I'm ready to take my glasses off. I can't see anything. Looking at y'all can see I'm in the car right now. Unfortunately, had an unexpected, urgent errand that I had to run, but happy to join on, mobile. I'm sure we've done this 1,000 times before, nothing new. So good to be with y'all.
Word for the 400th episode. 400.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congrats are in order for sure. Congrats are in order. I can't translate that into years, but it's a lot. Yeah, that's all.
August 3rd, 2014. We'd have been here 400 if we done took some breaks. Some winter breaks. If we did a show every week, we'd have probably hit this a long time ago. But we towards the last 4 or 5 years, we've been taking some breaks in between.
Got you. Understood.
Yeah. So what's good, Dr. Bob? Dr. Bob joined. So we've had a bunch of co-hosts, starting with the sister soldier herself, Cynthia Turnquest Jones, who started off the show. We've had other people come in for episode 2, Juanita Lewis, Charles Stern, what's the brother from the Andrew from the Working Family Party? I can't even think of his name. He came in for episode 2, and then Lorraine hit the scene and Dr. Bob somewhere around the same time. Lorraine rocked out with us since just before the 100th episode, and she rocked out for a while. Dr. Bob has been on and off ever since somewhere like episode 88 or something and he's been rocking with us, holding it down. And sometimes Damon wasn't on because he was working. It was just me and Bob holding it down. Bob was on here holding it with me. Word up. So
yeah,
it's been eventful. I don't think even when me and Damon started this, because the history of the show, this actually was a show that Damon started way before this, and he had it on one of those, what was the format you were using before?
A podcast.
Yeah, some kind of podcast thing where you call in or whatever, and it was called, I think it was called People Before Politics. So when we started Black Westchester, we continued that name because that name he already started that name, and we started off and we went to go We was invited. Priscilla invited Damon to speak on a show that was on there, the Power Hour or something, with Dion. I forgot the other guest, the other host,
And
and
Rashad was on the show.
Was on the Power on the Power.
Rashad was on that show too, I think.
Oh, I don't even know. And then we talked to Cruz, and that next Sunday we was kicking off August 3rd, 2014. We was kicking off our own first show. And we ain't never looked back since. We was doing it in the studio up until COVID, and we've been using this format ever since. And we've had everybody who's anybody, not just in Westchester. We had the Honorable Hafiz Muhammad, rest in peace. We had Bob Law. We've had Captain Dennis. We've had what's the brother from the National Newspaper Association, Publisher Association, Benjamin Chavis.
Benjamin Chavis.
We've had
Boyd. Benjamin Chavis. Okay.
Yeah. Benjamin Chavis. Huh? What'd you say, Bob?
I said he's the president.
Yeah, he's the president.
He's the president of the national.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We had authors like our friend Corey Pegues, who hit me in text message to congratulate us. I invited him as one of the people. I don't know if he's coming or not, but we've had everybody. We've had Eric Adams on. We've had Jamani Williams on, and we've had everybody in Westchester. You know what I'm saying? So we've had Darren Green when he was running for council in Islip, Long Island. We endorsed him. You know what I'm saying? So we've been holding it down for a minute, and Darren was doing the black law enforcement thing with Damon, and he was on several times. We at 400 episodes, boy. We've been giving you that real talk for the community that you don't get nowhere else.
Absolutely.
So, Damon, talk about when we started to now. What you think? Did you think we'd be here? We think we make a 400 10 years later? Like,
no, man. I think we doing. I think we doing a good job, even though we took a lot of breaks in the constant weekly show. And I want to thank everybody that supported us throughout all this time, man, because excuse me, we haven't said things that was appealing to a lot of people. So I really think that us to still be doing this and get the support that we do, and whether people don't agree with our Black point of view, because that is our logo and that's what we stand by. I really appreciate the support, and not all the times people watch us live,
right?
But they do watch us,
right?
And not all the times people make comments, but they do call me and call AJ and make comments. So I really appreciate the support that we do. There's a lot. There's always haters that want to down who we are, but what we have been doing, including Bob. When I say we, I include Bob. I include Lorraine. I include everybody that has participated.
Cynthia,
on this show. Cynthia, I sent her a text too, and told her to bring her ass on for 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But listen, she busy reading Plan 2025 right now. So
listen, bro. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. And Bob, I'm glad you went there, man, because I just want to say this to Black people, right? Every time they throw some crazy stuff at us to get us distracted from our own unity and our own collective economics. We're worrying about this racist white man somewhere down south that came up with this project 2025. But we don't have a national Black political agenda. Taraji P. Nelson is on BET, which let's remember, there's no black in it because it's owned by white folks. Talking about Project 2025, and nobody's talking about a black political agenda. Why do we keep worrying about what other people are doing and not focusing on what we need to do for black people? We don't have a national black agenda.
We ain't got a local black agenda.
Right. We don't even have a personal black agenda. You understand?
Right.
As far as finances and as far as buying real estate and as far as building generational wealth, many of us don't even have that. So now all of a sudden, it's this Project 2025. And let me be clear. Trump has denounced the damn thing. So they're saying that they're putting it to Trump, and he's already tweeted that has nothing to do with him. And his son reposted the tweet, Trump Jr., it has nothing to do with him. And he says some of that stuff is imbecile and crazy.
Well, considering that Trump is both an imbecile and a crazy, that's no reason to say that he couldn't do it. It makes it all the more likely.
You know what? It's not.
I'm sorry, Damon. I couldn't resist that, man.
And I agree, but it's not about what they're doing. It's about what we are doing. What are black people doing? We just seen in this local election in Westchester County that we need to be more mobilized, and we need to pool our resources for our financials, for our political welfare and stability, which we completely failed in this last election. So now all of a sudden it's Project 2025. What they need to be worried about is elderly abuse of Joe Biden. Don't run this man. This is elderly abuse, clearly. And I'm not a medical doctor, but I do got a couple of certificates in health and wellness and nutrition. He's sick. That's what we need to be talking about, whether we're going to put up Kamala Harris or we're going to have an actual primary, which the Democrats didn't have a primary yet. They just put Joe Biden out there. And they made a mistake with that because they can't draw that back. And now more Democrats are saying that he needs to step down. So that's what they forget about Project 2025. You need to have a viable candidate by November. See, we get black folks get distracted. Care about no damn Project 2025. Y'all better worry about getting the presidency, getting the House, and getting the Senate. Then we ain't got to worry about Project 2025. But also, as black people, we need to have some type of political agenda while we going out here giving our votes to these people that majority of them are paid by AIPAC. Peace, sister.
AJ, would you like to respond, AJ?
I just want to say one thing.
I wanna...
Agree or disagree. I'm not. No. But I want to say one thing. The reality is, and this is the reality of it, the only way there can be another candidate, Joe Biden has to bow out of the race and give all his delegates to someone else. There's not enough delegates left to run another candidate, and they get all the delegates they need to get the nomination. So unless Joe Biden himself bows out, then his delegates will go to the next person.
No, wait. Remember, those delegates can pull their nomination. We haven't had the Democratic convention yet.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
And then they're going to lose.
Right. I'm just explaining that's the policy, that's the procedure. And I want to be clear because a lot of people say, oh, let's just run someone else. It's not as easy. Joe Biden has to actually pull out of the race. and his delegates will go to someone else.
I get that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they
No. I want to explain that process because a lot of people who say that don't understand that that's the process. They think you can just pull someone else and then they can get all the and they can run. That can't happen at this point.
I get, but we also got to make it clear they never had a primary, which was stupid.
The convention's coming up,
right? And they haven't had their convention yet. So, I mean, they can't go if he could listen. As I said in my post, they better give him some testosterone, CMOS, and all that other stuff if he's going to have another debate, because he cannot do that again.
Well, the debate was stupid, but I'm not going to spend our whole 400 episode talking about Joe Biden.
No. And the reason why I say this because what I see on mainstream black media, which is owned by white people, mainstream black media, which is owned by white people, they're having very, very ignorant discussions about this. And there's some, I ain't even gonna say no names, that I am appalled on what they're saying. It just proves that somebody is cutting them a check. Somebody's cutting them a check. And my thing is, do you want to win or do you just want to complain about Trump? Well, they're going to have to, Penn, the best thing they need to do right now is have a debate and see who's the best that's out there, or just give it over to Kamala. Now, I've been watching.
They're not going to do that. This country is not going to do that. They do not want a black woman as president. They're not going to.
Then you need to. Listen, the Democrats are in a corner. They're in a corner, and let's remember, it's the independent vote, and they gotta win them sway states. We gotta play chess, and they gotta win them sway states. So they gotta find somebody because Trump is up with his 35 felonies and all. He's up 10 points according to CNN today.
Yeah, I can't go with the poll thing, but so much. Because the polls told us that Hillary had the election in the bag, and we found that it was up until the time when Trump won. Everybody said, "Oh shit!" Every poll everywhere had Hillary as a winning at a landslide. So polls mean so much. I'm just saying polls I can't go by though.
But we can't go by polls, but we could use polls as a measuring stick at this point, especially when what we saw.
Okay, so I'm going to table that because we celebrating us, not none of that, and we welcome in the sister soldier of the show. We welcome in the sister soldier of the show, the first original co-host of People Before Politics, Cynthia Turnquest Jones.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on? I'm down here in Manhattan. I just finished coming out of the theater watching a theater called Home, Home. Really good, really deep. It's about us going back home and actually honoring where we actually came from, whether it's down south or another country, things of that nature. It was really well written. It's 90 minutes, so there's no intermission. It's straight through. And I just want to say congratulations to AJ Woodson and Damon K Jones for being consistent with People Before Politics and Black Westchester Magazine. And before I leave, we're at Virgil's. It's a group of us. We're having dinner. But I just wanted to say something about the Project 2024.
2025.
It's a very, say it again?
2025.
Okay, 2024, 2025. And if brother don't get in for 2025, they're going to use it in whatever 20 it is. Okay.
Yeah.
But I just want people to know that it's a very heavy reading document. If you're not a person that reads, please don't pretend that you were reading Project 2025 with somebody like me, because I read. But I only read one chapter. I only read the chapter about education, about the Department of Education.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say I read it, I studied it, I researched some of the things that are in there. They want to bring back some of the policies that Betsy DeVos put in place. They are still trying to undo a lot of things that President Barack Obama put in place.
Mm-hmm.
They are telling you straight out, flat out, that if they get in there will be um, no breaks when it comes to you getting a student loan. If you got a student loan, you're going to pay that student loan, and they will give you 25 years to pay that student loan before they give you any kind of reprieve from a student loan. They're also talking about school choice. They're talking a lot about private schools and choice schools, and they want to extend the the licenses for charter schools. That's only some of what I read. And that's only one chapter, which is chapter 11. There's a plethora of chapters to the Project 2025. So read one chapter at least. It's going to take more than 20 minutes. You know how
Absolutely.
I say it's 7 p.m.? Did you read with your children? It's 7 p.m. Did you read anything from the Project 2025 yet? But it is a deep read. It's interesting in the things that they don't want to have happen anymore. They have a problem with restorative practices, which is another way, instead of us just immediately um, disciplining children with suspending them from schools. So they have a problem with restorative practices, and that means that they would rather penalize children, and they want, if there's problems with disciplinary codes and things of that nature, they want the Department of Justice to take care of that, not the Department of Education. So there's a list of things that are in chapter 11 just based on education.
I
That's
mean,
all I got to say.
there's a bunch of other stuff too, and I'm just going to keep it short. Like they want to get rid of the FDA, and they want whatever needs to be. They want the court to make the decision instead of the FDA. Like the people,
Right.
and but beyond that, beyond the 2020, 25, whatever the thing is called, yo, all I want to say is this whole Trump and everything is a big distraction. There's a lot of things they are trying to put in place. There is a measure that just passed the House that will bring back the damn draft for 18 to 25. It passed the House. The Republicans in the House passed this. It
But,
hasn't
but,
passed the
but
Senate.
most of them was
So,
on APAC payroll.
well, right. But I'm just saying that's just one of the things. Then we've already addressed the whole Anti-Semitic Awareness Act that wanted to attach it to the Civil Rights Act. There's a whole bunch of things behind the scenes
Yes,
while
yes.
we're
And
paying
in, in,
attention
in,
to.
in each one of those chapters, like what AJ said, in each one of those chapters, the same language is said over and over again, because the Civil Rights Act is also mentioned in the education chapter of Project 2025. So there's a plethora of things that are taking place right in front of us. And yeah, people got to get it together. But in the
And we
meantime,
don't
between time, I'm about to go into Virgil's BBQ and bar.
enjoy.
Enjoy it.
And
Appreciate you.
Enjoy it.
I'm gonna holler at y'all, and I just gotta put this out there because me and Damon went back and forth for a whole hour, AJ,
Of course, him and Bob too.
and I feel as though that we should come up with some kind of special, like a special report in regards to voting, because people don't know what we know. There's individuals that have no clue as the rights to vote. What does voting mean? What can voting do? And things of that nature.
But I
Damon
None.
just
said
want to
that
say
he was
before
going
you,
to do
I
it because
want to say
people. He said because people don't read, just like they asking people if they read the Project 2025.
Exactly.
If they don't
But
Exactly.
read,
let me just say to you,
Exactly.
wait, let me say, Cynthia, just so you know, I just gave Bob all the numbers for the districts breaking down the elections. He's about to do graphs and charts and the whole nine. We're gonna have that soon to present to see who voted, who didn't vote, what percentage of registered voters didn't vote in our community. We're gonna have all of that. We're gonna have all that real soon.
all right. See that, Damon? AJ said yes.
Well, David said the same thing when we got the same email. He said, send it to Bob. Bob will take care of it. Bob will get us something. So I made sure Bob got it when it.
Bro.
All right, we're gonna get on it. But I'm about to go up in here, yo. We gonna bump the house, y'all, and I got your back on this the specialized thing that we're gonna do about voting.
All right, no doubt. Peace.
All right,
love y'all.
Bob's back. Go ahead, Bob.
Bob, what you missed. Cynthia was talking about the whole voting thing, and I told her you got the numbers, and you crunching the numbers, and we're gonna have a report on what vote from by district and who voted and who didn't vote and all that. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, "Yo, she's waiting for that, and she's rocking with you when you do that. She's there because we need to educate our voters, we need to register our voters, we need to tell people their rights to vote."
Right.
We gotta get back on that. I know I haven't seen it yet, but I know the NAACP as a whole, as a mandate, is working on mobilization of voters and registering voters and the importance of vote. That's like a mandate. I don't know. I guess you'll start seeing in the different cities, them working on it too. So, but that's what we were talking about when you were in and out. I just wanted to let you know. So she said, I'm with Bob. She was calling from downtown. She just went to a play or something. She was going in a restaurant, so she just stopped through to say what's up. So shout out to Cynthia Turnquest Jones, always holding us down. If there's something going down in the city, there's a rally, there's something, they shutting down the park, they shutting down the bridge, they shutting something down, she's there shutting it down. She's everywhere. So shout to her, and she's really a big advocate on education. Anything to do with education and children literacy. That's her thing. So shout out to Cook Alexander Campbell, who just tuned in. Shout out to Andrew Wang. Shout out to Panama Shell, my cousin Michelle Harris in Vegas. Shout out to Joseph Yaru. Please encourage. I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing that. I will say I did talk because there's been a lot of talk about. Bowman had made a declaration, or people are saying that Bowman need to move to the Bronx and primary Richard Torres. That is not in his plans. I talked to him in the last 48 hours. That is not in his plan. Bob, go ahead, and we're about to introduce another one. But go ahead, Bob. Somebody got an echo. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, so I was just gonna piggyback on the remarks said thus far by firstly congratulating you and Damon for filling a vital vacuum in the local Black public sphere in Westchester County. With the exception of the county press, there is no Black indigenous media outfit, and we know that one of the reasons that the nation finds itself in a crisis is because of the decline, not just of local news, but more to the point of the condition of our community, the decline of Black local news. And so I think it's imperative.
Black Talk Radio too. They killed Black Talk Radio too.
And so if we're going to be able to find a broad strategy to build the infrastructure that's needed to mobilize our people, then we're several steps ahead thanks to y'all's foresight. I do want to add that in addition to Black media, another important component of the public sphere today is our think tanks. That have been raised in the discussion thus far between Damon and Cynthia, and Damon rightly noted that Project 2025 is whatever think tank is out of Cato, or I'm not quite sure. But look, the reality is that for both major parties, even for the minor parties, much of the policy research, analysis, and planning takes place not within the party infrastructure itself, but within think tanks. Think tanks have become so important to the modern public sphere that a recent scholar has taken to calling them the fifth estate, piggybacking on the idea that the press is the fourth estate. So if we're going to, Damon's right to say, listen, we can't only be about reacting and rejecting to plans that other groups are putting out. More importantly, we got to be focused on how we're going to formulate a plan of our own around which we could unite. And part of it is doing the kind of infrastructure building that both of you guys have been calling for. AJ, most recently on your video release today, where you articulated the importance of doing this type of work. So I'm hoping that in the between campaigns, that this is one of the things that we're going to do. Analysis of voter returns, how to best mobilize, policy proposals, because I think ultimately, if we're serious about finding ways to enhance our involvement, then this is some of the part of the agenda that we got put together. On that note, I'm gonna just step off. I'm gonna turn off my cam, y'all, but I am involved in conversation. I better just chime in, but I'm gonna be actively driving. All right.
No doubt, no doubt. And before I bring in the next guest, I want to shout out Manny Faces. He said, congratulations on the milestone. He has a great podcast that's like an adult. They deal with adult hip hop, Damon. Everything but the dumb shit. Basically, that's what he don't deal with. When you would love his thing. But I want to give him a shout out and welcome one of our longest co-hosts, the lovely Lorraine Lopez, who stepped in when Damon had to step to the side a little bit. You know what I'm saying? She came in and held it down with us and has rocked with us through the paper and the website and held us down and been my ghetto tour guide through Yonkers politics and the Latino community. So what's up, sis?
Hi, guys.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, Damon.
The lovely.
Look at me. First of all, congratulations. Congratulations. This is amazing. Not only that, but I gotta thank you guys. I gotta thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to rock with you guys for so many years. I tell you, I learned a lot. And Damon, I gotta thank you, especially because you and I were having conversations and I was trying to work my way back up, to the political circle. And you said you'll come to the show. And I did. And my girl is rocking today.
Oh, she's doing her thing. She's doing her thing. She's being modest. She's all that in a bag of chips in the political circle in Yonkers. And we celebrating 400 episodes. I think she probably appeared in at least 200 of them. So
yes,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. But I love you guys so much. I mean, honestly, and I still rock. Damon, remember when we got into that little tidbit conversation? You know what? At the end of the day, what I tell you, AJ, I said I'm gonna rock with Damon.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna rock with Damon all the way.
Did you see how it? Did you see how that? You see how it all? It was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yep.
But hey, listen, we still got work to do. We got work to wake our people up because the turnout was horrible. We gotta get our people and get the churches. Brother DJ Rise Possible on Instagram, he said I think some type of busing system can help those unable to get voting locations that could really help low income communities get to the polls. And I agree 100%. But and I said it in one of my articles, and I'm still going to say it. Where was the black pastors, right? Because souls to the polls and making sure seniors was getting there. That was the history of the black church, in dealing with elections, and we didn't see any of that, So we gotta sit down with these pastors and see if they're really serious,
right? Because we need them to come out more than just after George Floyd. Like exactly. We need them to come out on a regular basis.
Exactly. I mean, even in the Latino community and the Muslim community, and I'm making it clear, I'm not knocking the Jewish community, but they had 60% turnout compared to 26% turnout of non-Jews. Yo, that's amazing. That's organizing. That's putting in the work. They had 6,000 absentee ballots. They had just as much as absentee ballots as the city of Mount Vernon had total votes. Think about that.
You know, it's interesting because that's one of the things that annoys me the most in the city of Yonkers is we have so many Latino leaders and not one of them wants to take the lead.
Exactly.
You know, I was able to take the lead in Mayor Spano's campaign, right? And I was able to bring everyone together. But after that, everybody kind of went their own way. They got together for a primary purpose, and that was to re-elect Mayor Spano. I say it and I post it all the time. Where is our organization? We don't have something like the NAACP. We don't have Sister to Sister. We don't have the Black Women's Political Caucus. All these organizations in Latin terms, we don't have them. We don't have them. We just kind of mind our business. We don't get involved. We don't open our mouth. Everybody wants to, you know, oh, I'm not involved in politics anymore. I kind of retired. And then next thing you know, you see them at a political event. You know, that's the games they play here in Yonkers. With the Latinos play a lot of games, and I'm not afraid to say it. They play a lot of games here. They don't get involved. They kind of mind their own business with everything, and that's a shame because it affects us. It affects Latinos and Blacks. You know, right now we have representation in the Latino community that suck. Really. You know, and why aren't we getting together to, you know, bring change, bring somebody else in? Exactly. Nobody wants to touch it because they're Latino, really? So we're screwed. Because you don't want to touch somebody because they're a Latino. Come on now.
Wow.
It's frustrating over here. It's frustrating.
I agree with you 100%. And I just put a video out. I don't know if you saw it. Bob was talking about it. We had a coalition for Jamal Bowman. You had Christians, Jewish, Muslim people working together, the Palestinians, you had the Anti-Racist Alliance type people, the progressives. You had all kinds of people working together. And like you said, people come together for a primary, but what we need is a year-long grassroots strategic political infrastructure. You know what I'm saying? We need that as collective, and we need that amongst ourselves. The Black people definitely need one, and like you said, Latino people definitely need one, and then we need all the ones of us that came together for one issue. We all need to come together. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we build power. Like we can criticize AIPAC all you want, but their goal is pro-Israel. And if you're not pro-Israel, they have just shown they will spend any amount of money to get rid of you, including spending the most money in history of a congressional race in the United States for one race. They put their money where their mouth is. Only thing they care about is pro-Israel, getting money sent to Israel, getting support for Israel. You either get down or you lay down. You know what I'm saying? Like the gangsters used to say, you get with them or they taking you out. And we can criticize them all we want, but we ain't got nothing compared to that. We don't get down like that. We just complain. All we do is complain. We bitch and complain. Oh my God, how can they do that? I can't believe they did that. But Joe, what are we doing? That's all I gotta say about that. So
speaking about that, combining both the Latino and the Black community together, believe it or not, I'm meeting with Sabormi this week because her and I were having a conversation, and we said, you know what if we start a coalition of Black and Latinos? You know,
she reached out to me too.
Huh?
She reached out to me too, actually.
Okay, good. Okay, so you're gonna be part of it now that you said that. And hope I know I can speak to the Latino leaders. If there is some place for them to go, they just might join.
Right.
Well, I got a call, and they're planning on a meeting with all the groups that came together. Because what Congressman Bowman, what came out of Congressman Bowman's race was he had a multicultural, religious base. He had black, white, brown. He had Arab. He had Jewish. He had Christians. He had Muslims. Right. So our whole thing was, we can't go back to our corners after this.
Right. That's what I've been saying.
We have to stay together. So they are planning meetings, and you need to meet with Saponi. Absolutely. Right. But we need to bring everybody together, because if we don't, we're going to be in trouble. And then after that, we have to sit down. We have to sit down with the Black and Latino politicians, because if you're not going to stand up for us, if you're going to sit and you're going to placate to the actual power structures that be, and you need our vote to get in, we won't vote for you.
Right.
Like, we really, I'm like this. If people are not paying attention, especially in Westchester County, this election said everything. And let me tell you, and it wasn't about, let me be honest, this wasn't about Gaza. This was about wealth, the transference of wealth. This is about, because Bowman had the piggy bank to the federal government, and he wasn't giving it to these rich communities. He was trying to uplift the more marginalized. And what I don't understand, Black people, all you Black people that are watching, all the Black people in Westchester County, George Lattimore accused him right on TV for looking out for Black and brown interests. And y'all Negroes ain't show out. Oh, we need a politician to look out for our interests. Nobody's listening to us. And he was accused by a white man, the first Black congressman was accused by a white man for looking out for us, and we did not show out for him.
Go ahead.
That's horrible. That's horrible. And I said it before, if you got Black in your name, take it off. Because we didn't show out. We didn't do our job. For someone who was funding organizations to help our social needs. And then, go ahead, AJ, man.
Absolutely. I mean, bottom line, like I put out a call, and I said it before the election was over. I said it to some of them key members right after the election night. Yo, I want to see if y'all all gonna go back to your corners, or are we gonna sit there and build together and build on this thing? Like I said, we need a grassroots strategic political infrastructure. And to take it even further, Damon said we all need to come together and create our own PAC. And if we got to put $1, $5, $10 into the month or something, and we all have, see, we support our elected officials and candidates with our words and not our wallets. That's why someone else and corporations and all these people that don't have our interests can come in and buy our politicians, because they need money to run. These elections are getting more and more expensive. You need money to run. You know what I'm saying? But we, the people that they represent, we don't have money to support them. So they have to get their money from people who don't have our interests in mind. What we going to do about that? We need to build our own thing. And Bob has been saying since he's been with us from day one, the reason most movements fail, especially in the Black community, is a lack of organization. And I'm going to pass it off to Bob on that one.
Is he back? Oh, he's back. Hold on.
Yeah, he's back. Bob. You're muted, Bob.
You're muted.
All right, I'm sorry about that, y'all. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a note. It's a call that's been sounded by so many throughout the community that we need to form some sort of lasting organization. Look, and for me, the key is this. The reason, firstly, the defeat of the Bowman campaign in last Tuesday's election, I think, calls into question the strategic approach of so many new organizers, political organizers who are associated with the who are associated. This is gonna happen again, y'all. Who are associated with the the Justice Democrats is that it's new media organizing relies overwhelmingly social media and other related technologies to mobilize people, and we really need a shift.
Absolutely.
We need a shift because we need more grassroots organizers. I think one of the real serious contrasts between Latimer's campaign and Jamal Bowman's campaign is I have a sense that Latimer might have been more successful in the ground turnout effort precisely because the Democratic Party does have a turnkey political operation that starts with all of the elected district leaders. There's several hundred that they must have that are ready to be mobilized in any election that progressive forces that have yet to institutionalize themselves have nothing comparable to match with. And so we need to be possibly vying for control. And I know there's some you guys are doing, and you all really brought this to my attention, but I want to amplify it to vie for election of district leaders. Barring that, we also need to develop independent infrastructure that's going to mobilize grassroots organizers are going to go out door to door and knock on people's doors. And one of the things that will make people more willing to open their doors for us is if when we go to look for a vote, it's not the first time they see our face. We got to be knocked to organize people around their needs. And I'll just say again, there's lots of grants that are out here. And whatever we do between the next 2 years, between congressional elections, really should be focused on that. How can we get the grassroots money that progressives have fought so hard for over the last 2 years from legislation and translate that into actual policies that's going to improve our community? It's a very difficult undertaking, but I don't think anything short of that is going to suffice. There, I'll be quiet, y'all, because my GPS keeps messing up.
I think we need two things. We need a 501c3 that is able to collect those type of grants that they give out for voter education and voter registration. And then we need a 501c4. Then we need a 501c4 that can collect money. You know, so we could actually, support candidates. And I think the one of the biggest, problems was like what people were saying, like there wasn't enough busing to make sure that seniors were able to get to the polls. Listen, people were bombarded with a bunch of lies and mailers, which it was very hard for the Bowman campaign or anybody who really supported Bowman, to combat, man. Like people were calling me like and just showing me all the mailers that they were getting, and some people were believing that stuff because it came in the mail, and they had a sort of trust of George Lattimore. So yes, we need to have town hall meetings in all the cities and towns, for people to come out, even the white towns, right? And you come out and you hear what has to be said. I think and I told Congressman Bowman himself that no, he should have went in those white towns and had town hall meetings. But what was crazy, Lorraine?
What?
It's the fact that how they diminished the black vote after he beat Ingle in the district, the state. You know, once he beat Ingle, they started playing with his district. Now, you know, I can't point a finger on anybody, but it's hard to campaign when you don't know where your district is, especially the black communities, because they were saying, "Oh, well, we're going to give White Plains and Greenburgh back to Mondaire, and we're going to do this and we're going to do that." And before, he didn't have Co-op City. You know, he had different places in the Bronx, right? So how do you really focus on areas when you didn't even know what area you was over?
Right.
So they played that game, you know, and in the process of playing the game, what happened? The Democrats lost what, 6 Congress seats in New York playing these games. They twisted out Mondaire's, the District 17, got Mondaire up there buck dancing and just trying to please white folks for votes. I don't know what happened to that brother. He lost his mind. But he's trying to win, but he's not going to win. You know, but when you start denying who you are and you start denying your brothers, you know, that you ain't going to get no real support. You're not going to get any real support. But this is what they did. For the first time in history, we had a black man in District 17 and a black man in District 16. And once they saw that, exactly, they start moving the districts around, getting all crazy.
Right.
Are we serious? Right? And how much I love my sister Andrew Stewart Cousins to death. But you in charge of the Senate, and then you got another brother of color in charge of the Assembly, and this is how y'all do black congressmen?
There was silence coming from them, right?
Huh?
It was silence, right?
That was silence all the time. It was silence. You didn't hear anything.
Right.
You didn't hear nothing from the black pastors. You didn't hear nothing from the black politicians. You didn't even hear nothing from the Westchester County Black Democrats. Now, how you got, and that's what I'm saying, you got to take that name off. You got to take black off the name, because that should have been an automatic to support the first black congressman. That should have been an automatic to support the first black man that I know of in my lifetime running for Westchester County District Attorney.
Blackstar.
Yes. Silence. Total silence. So the question is, where do we go from here from black and brown people? If we can't get someone that look like us in these positions, and then they're going to give us Ken Jenkins, and I love Ken, that's my brother, but they're going to give us Ken Jenkins and say, oh, everything's okay, we got a black county exec. No, it's not.
And then they're going to have somebody primary him, watch.
Well, that's what everybody's saying.
I mean, we already know the political atmosphere. We know that's going to happen. We know that's going to happen. And, you know, it's interesting you said, you know, when you said, don't forget where people forget where they came from. Let me just say this before I start getting a lot of calls and I get blacklisted and so on and so on. I love my Latino leaders in Yonkers. I know them all. I love them all. I work really great with them. But they also understand and it's also the problem is different Latino cultures. But every single one of those cultures needs to understand that we're not European.
Exactly.
You know, we're black. You know, and some people just don't want it. Some people just don't want to accept it. And the Latino community, in your white community, you already know. But in the Latino community, there's a lot of people that just want to accept that because they want to feel superior somehow, and they think that by linking with the white man, that they've got a little bit of power. But you know what? That can be stripped from you in a heartbeat by them if they choose to. Exactly.
And this is what we're up against, because most of the black leadership in Mount Vernon that was standing out was getting that work for the county.
Right.
You understand? And and I'm just being honest, but Bowman still won Mount Vernon because the elderly people recognized what racism was. They recognized it. It's just our black leadership has a blind eye to what racism is.
Right.
If you didn't see racism, bigotry, Islamophobia in Georgia's campaign, and I'm making it clear, I'm not calling Georgia racist. I'm saying whoever was in charge of his campaign and the mailers they put out to make him darker, and those lies that they put out against him, and then George challenging him because he wanted to look out for black and brown people while he was voiceless on the 30,000 killings of black and brown people over in Palestine. This was a racist campaign. And I don't know what they're going to do to get the Democratic Party back together again. Because see, now they want to come to us and start talking about Project 2025. So why am I going to be so concerned about a racist think tank, a Project 2025, and you took out our first black congressman who brought $1 billion to the district? How can I do that? That's hypocritical. Oh, we got a guest in.
Let me just take. Oh, hi.
Yeah.
I gotta go. It was nice chatting with you. I love you guys so much. Right. You guys are my brother for life. Bye.
Thank you for all you did to keep the show going.
No problem. I love you guys. Bye.
All right. Friend of the show, Caitlin Gleason.
Hi guys.
Mount Vernon City Council president, right?
Yes, sir.
I've been paying attention lately. I've been.
I get it.
Sometimes Mount Vernon burns me out, and I have to.
I get it.
I gotta back up a little bit. As you can see from my scenery, I am not in Mount Vernon right now. So,
and I'm not in Mount Vernon right now either. But I felt it was really important to recognize. What is it? Your 400th episode?
Absolutely, yes.
So I remember when Damon was on some backwoods internet, and I would listen on a Saturday morning. So I got to be honest with you guys. I'm so excited for where you guys are at this point, right? So I think you guys have got an unbelievable message. You have an avenue to actually put the voices out there that people don't actually hear. So even though sometimes we might disagree politically, we've always had the utmost respect for each other. And I just wanted to thank you guys. I think it's unbelievable what you guys have accomplished through adversity, getting to this point.
Thank you.
Yes, 400. Today is the 400th episode of People Before Politics of me and Damon, before not including the many episodes he did before that. And in August is the 10-year anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, I wish you guys the best. I think more than anything, you guys try really hard to get the truth out there. And I think that that's so important, right? Damon, you've been my brother from day one when we did Mount Vernon for You, when it was extremely unpopular, but we made sure it was not political. And we got the food out to the people. AJ, you've always been my brother. You have guided me, Damon and AJ, you have both guided me on different issues that I might have been ignorant on. You have never made me feel less of either one of you. You've always had respect for me, and I have respect for the both of you. And I just wanted to let you know, like, keep it going. I think it's so important. I really do. It's not a political message. It's something that and AJ, you and I have had these conversations late nights on, it doesn't matter, Saturday, Sunday, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, or what have you, when something major comes up. It's always really important to have open and honest conversations, right? Where I might not understand your perspective, you might not understand my perspective, but it's always been respective afterwards. And you both have educated me, and I'm so appreciative of not only your support, but also of, your teaching and educating of me. So I thank you both so much. I can't believe we got to 400 episodes. Unbelievable.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, one of the most important things for me, because I'm always asked to speak when these coalition things go together and these groups come together, everyone comes to be heard. But
yes.
More than half of those people in the room don't come to hear.
Here.
And I think that's important. And what you just said, I talk to a lot of people who I don't agree with and are on the other side of things, but I listen to them.
Yes.
Pre-Trump Republicans, I heard a lot of what they had to say. Now, I didn't agree with most of it, you know what I'm saying? But I heard them, though. And then I made sure they heard me, you know what I'm saying? But
Right, but I think that's the best part of the friendship that we all have, right? Because we have definitely, the three of us, Damon, even Dr. Bob, AJ, myself, we have not always agreed on the same political beliefs, but we have also educated each other, right? And I think that that's really important, because I think that sometimes people are so staunch on one perspective that they can't hear. And that's exactly what you said, AJ. It's really important to hear. It's really important to listen. It's really important to respect another perspective. Okay. And I stand with you guys. And I think, like, there have been plenty of times we've disagreed, but there have been plenty of times that we had to stand together to support what's really important in Westchester, not only Mount Vernon, I think in Westchester County, right? And I think the Chamberlain case was a very pivotal case in police justice. And I think that standing together is really important.
Lastly, I just want to say, one thing about you, a lot of people come to me and Damon to stand with them when they're going through stuff, or for us to understand them. But when it comes to Black issues, when we're talking, it's a deaf ear. And you've never been that. You've listened, you've asked the questions. You might not agree all the time, but you ask the questions. Well, make me understand, make it make sense to me. And we've had hours and hours of conversation, but you got to be willing to hear. Not even just come to hear, you got to be willing to hear. You know what I'm saying? And then, you weigh it and you still do what you're going to do, but you understand the situation better from the opposite side. And I can say that about you, that I can't say about a lot of people. They come to us for us to stand with their group when they're going through whatever, but when Black people are going through it.
Well, AJ, I'm going to tell you something that I totally appreciate that, right? But I think that I got my education very early, very early with DK Jones, right? And I think that Damon and I formed a very unusual friendship very early on when we were doing philanthropic work, right? And he never made it unusual or incredible for me to come to him on Black issues that I might not have understood, right? Being a white woman, middle class, what have you. And I'm not embarrassed by that, right? I'm not embarrassed by going to somebody who is more knowledgeable to educate me. And he never made me feel bad to ask that question. So you complimenting me on that has absolutely a lot to do with DK Jones, right?
Thank you.
Because he saw me for a regular person You know, and we would have, he would, you know, we would have really great conversations very early on. And he really educated me, him and Cynthia Turnquest Jones, right? Because again, I grew up differently, right? They never made me feel bad to ask questions and understand the perspective that they were coming from. And I respect it 100%, you know, and I think that, you know, credit is due where, you know, credit is. So I'm very excited for you guys to be at
Thank
your
you.
400 episode. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And God bless you too. And thank you for all the support that you have given us through over the years, man. You know, and you're still trying to get it right. That's all. Still trying
All right, guys.
All right.
All
Have a
right.
great night.
You too.
All
All
right.
right, guys. Good
All
night.
right.
Bye.
Good night. Good night. We're gonna have a lot of people that we've invited a lot of people through the so through the next however many minutes we have left. There may be others that are going to be kicking in. A few people told me they were doing things and they were going to call in and like they were after 7:30 or something. So we have some more people coming, but we wanted to celebrate this. We still talking about the issues, but we also wanted to, you know, make it a celebration. It's 400 episodes. We've been giving you real talk for the community since August 3rd, 2014. And we're still standing, man, through all the attacks. Listen, it ain't all been popular being who we are. We've been attacked by, it's funny, Damon, we get attacked by those who came to us when they were being attacked and we had their back. And then those people end up attacking us. Worse than the people we were going up against. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's
Right.
we've been dealing with that, but you know, it's been unapologetic. You know, no one gave us our power and they can't take it away like that. So
Right.
we've just been independent and you know, freedom's not free. We've been, you know, we stood on what we stood on. And you know, we like Damon said, we still trying to get it right. We don't claim to have all the answers, and just because we say it is the truth is right, but we stand on what we stand on. And if
Right.
we make a mistake, we do correct it and be like, listen, at the time, per what I had, this is what it was. I later found out there was more to the story, and this is what it is. And we try to do that as much as possible.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man. So
Dr. Bob hit me. He had to make a stop. He is going to try to kick back on, but if he don't, he wanted everybody to know, you know what I'm saying? He rocks with us, and he
I wanted to talk about two things. You know,
absolutely.
that's definitely, and I'm going to try to pull it up right now. First of all, which is my mistake that we didn't do, right? So what we didn't do is I wanted to give honor and respect and love to the family of former Westchester County legislator Herman Keith, who passed away the weekend after the election, I believe. And he was 88 years old. And him and Ernie share.
Yeah, they're the first two. They walked in together as the first African American county legislators in the county of Westchester.
Absolutely. And Herman Keith, I've been in, and you know, I was blessed. What's the brother's name? Used to own the palace in New York.
Don Powell? No.
No, that used to own the palace. He was also president of the NAACP. I can't
remember his name to save my life right now.
Well, I was blessed to meet Herman Keith at that time when we first started the Westchester Correction Guardians Association, and under former President Alan Cardin, And it was also Soke Papasan, who had the Nubian Society, and he was the president of the Nubian Society, and he also was my martial arts teacher. But they all was at the meeting, and it was my first time seeing Herman Keith. Herman Keith and Soke Papasan had a little friction, but you know, they worked that out. But the man was immaculate, right? That was the first time I saw a black man rock suits with ties with no socks on, right? You know, he was, listen, Herman Keith was fly, right? And he represented himself, and he did a lot of good work for the community of Yonkers, especially the youth. And for a young guy in my 20s then, he was an example of black masculinity and power. You know, and so was Ernie. We're not taking anything from Ernie, but we're talking about, you know, he opened the door for black politics on a county level. If it wasn't for Herman Keith, it wouldn't be a King Jenkins. You know, it wouldn't be any of them that come from Yonkers that have brown pigment and melanin. So, you know, I wanted to take time out, you know, to honor this man for the work that he did for the city of Yonkers, because he did a lot of stuff, especially for the youth. You know, he definitely did a lot of schools and civic organizations and religious institutions, and promoting self-worth. You know, so I really think, you know, we want to take our hats off to this brother. I will not be, oh man, what happened? I will not be going to the funeral because I know it's going to be so many different people there. So many
but
different
this here right here is our tribute to him. You know what I'm saying? And documenting his history. And you know, I did the book Women of Black Women Westchester Celebrates Black Women of Westchester. There is a Black men's book. I'm sorry that I didn't get it out in time for him to see it, so I could have given him his flowers, but he will definitely be in the book. We will be documenting his history. And this is you know, Black Westchester paying tribute.
Yeah, you got the chapter right here.
yeah, I see. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, you got the chapter right here for that one. So we good on that. But we also, the next coming issue, we will be having a tribute. We'll be having a tribute to him, man. So I wanted to talk about that, and I also really wanted to for something we wanted to focus on. And I think, you know, I'm definitely going to talk to a lot of people in education, because I think we are failing Black families, we are failing Black youth without pushing our young Black men and women. You know, I address in this article black boys, you know, because a lot of times women excel into college, and a lot of times young Black boys don't. But there's always an avenue in vocational education. And we need to, especially the schools that have Black and brown children, we need to focus on having vocational education in these schools, because, as I said, it's not just a smart thing to do, it's essential, right? And it creates a path for Black youth, Black family, and Black community prosperity. And what we have failed to understand is that they are predicting that 550,000 plumbers will be needed in 2027. 550,000 plumbers will be needed in 2027. And there's also will be a shortage in electricians. Now, let me make this clear for some of y'all, for some of y'all Negroes out here. Plumbers saw their median pay raise to 82,000. That was a 21% increase. Certified electricians make between 74 to 143,000. Right? This figure especially notable compared to the average salary of black men, which is only 43,000. A black man with a bachelor's degree on an average is only making 55,000. A black man with a master's degree on the average is making 72,000. Now we have to minus the educational loans that they have to even go to college. So when you start putting more black men or black youth in these vocational programs, they will be making more money with less debt. And one of the things that we failed to talk about, the big thing was with Biden was to cancel student loans, because student loans was a debt. Student loans was a debt, which more black people get in debt when you graduate and you're only making $55,000 a year and you got $300,000 in debt of student loans. So let's start focusing, sending our children to get into these trades. And what happens when they get into the trades? They start businesses, black businesses. So now they're just not working for somebody, having a black job. They now have a black business of being an electrician or plumber. And these type of jobs cannot be outsourced. Like they outsource computer work, they outsource whatever they call it. They outsource all these other jobs, but America never outsources electricians and plumbers. And so, we have to start focusing on that. And I don't understand. When I was coming up in high school, we had vocational classes right in the school. And if you want to take it to another level, you applied to go to BOCES. But just on a lower level of just understanding, they had it right in high school. And all that's gone. That should be in every black school, especially Mount Vernon. I remember I had a conversation with Brenda Crump when she was on the education, when she was on the board. And at that time, BMW had a program that they will partner with local school districts to teach their students to be certified BMW mechanics. And for the life of me, I didn't know why that they didn't jump on that back then. But instead of stealing BMWs in Mount Vernon, they'll be actually fixing them and making a living. See, we have to change our mindset in the black community if we're going to survive Project 2025. It ain't even about project; it's about us. What we're going to do. We have to change our mindset. I don't want to talk about Project 2025 if we're not talking about, as black people, on a local, on a state, on a federal, national level, what is our agenda? How do we make sure that our children are getting jobs that they could put food on their table and have families? How do we focus on keeping our families together? because we got 80% of children born out of wedlock. The marriage rate is the lowest. And if you know anything, right, marriage is connected to generational wealth. We're the only one talking about it. I know, sisters, y'all talking about y'all the most highest educated, right? But so is the Asian women, and their marriage rate is higher than the black marriage rate. So is the Indian women. They're educated too, but their marriage rate is higher than the black marriage rate. We're the lowest. Immigrants just got here yesterday, and their marriage rate is still higher than the black marriage rate. With all our educations, with all our sororities and fraternities, with all our cars and BMWs, with all our Birkin bags and red bottom shoes, with all our stuff, we still have relationships that don't last longer than the pregnancy.
Wow.
The baby shower is the new wedding. So there's so many things that Project 2025 ain't got nothing to do with black folks right now. We got to fix our own house.
Absolutely. For those tuning in, you tuned in to Black Westchester to present the People Before Politics radio show, episode number 400. Damon and I hit on in the Mix Studio August 3rd, 2014, and this show number 1. And 10 years later, here we are with episode number 400, still standing, still giving you real talk for the community. Black Westchester, still giving you that news with the black point of view. And, we just celebrating and discussing all the issues. I want to thank everybody. The only reason we're still here is for all the people we named and many people that we didn't even mention. Anybody who had anything to do with this show, anybody who supported this show, anybody who helped book a guest for this show, all the people who watched this show and shared it with everybody else. That's why we're still here, and we want to give thanks to all of you, and we're gonna keep riding until the wheels fall off. We're still standing through all the hate, through all the attacks, through all that stuff. All the people that said we wasn't gonna last, all the people told you we was a joke, and all that. We still standing. We're still standing. And that's something to be celebrated because, it's two brothers that just said they wanted to fill a void in Westchester County that wasn't being filled, and discuss the things that weren't being discussed, and shed light on a lot of situations that normally there wouldn't have been no light shed on. The good things, the bad things, the abusive things, the abuse of power, all those things. And appreciate, appreciate all of you who hold us down. Conservatives, regardless of creed, color, neutrality, had enough of the lie, deceit, and outright trickery of progressives. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but you can take that off the screen for me. Thank you. I'm not even addressing that. We celebrating our 400th episode. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody's welcome.
Everybody has a right to their opinion,
Right. But I'm not addressing that. In our celebration, I'm not even answering that. But we thank you for watching. We thank you for tuning in, though. We thank you for tuning in, even though you obviously have a different point of view. And hopefully you continue to tune in.
Everybody is clearly, snap out of it. You dig? He has a clearly, and let me explain something, which let me explain something. There's a lot of black folks that's going to support Trump, whether we like it or not, and that's their business. My whole thing is this: we, as black people, we have to have our house in order, no matter who's president, because our house is not in order. Our house is not in order. And I'm straight music. Vote for God. Because see, we got you got to stand on God right now. Because these houses, I'm going back to what Martin Luther King Jr. told Harry Belafonte. Did I just bring my people into a burning house? The house is burning.
Been burning for years.
The house is burning. So y'all better get your house in order, your home, your family, your spirituality. Y'all better get that in order. See, because Trump, Biden, Project 2025, it's all a distraction if you ain't right with God. I'm keeping it 100. See, because it don't matter to me who's in president, because my president is God. That's the ruler of my kingdom. So this dude talking about Trump, I mean, he can talk about Trump all he want. But my ruler is God. And he gonna straighten all that out. Because see, the Democrats got some karma coming, and the Republicans got some karma coming. And the only one that's going to do it is God. So y'all better get straight.
And for the record, you're not talking to you got the wrong show. You're not talking to people that are diehard Democrat, row A all the way.
I don't know what we not those cats. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. We just that, like, I don't know if you just got on to us for the first time, and if so, I appreciate you watching. But this ain't that kind of show. That's not how we get down. You know what I'm saying? It's just so. I just want to be clear on that, even if I don't agree with what you said. I mean, we put your comment on the screen. We ain't gonna run from no comments. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna keep it real.
And you're not gonna use this as a platform, right?
Right.
So that's one thing. That's one thing you're not gonna do. We're being humble to you because you're watching the show. Hey, and you're watching it on YouTube. So we're humble, and we thank you for tuning in. You know,
Gordon, but hit subscribe.
Hit subscribe
and keep watching,
man.
Keep watching.
That's all I want you to do is hit subscribe and share. But at the end of the day, you know, the reality is, for me, listen, man, I'm voting for God. I'm gonna write that. Hey, baby, yeah. No, it's your opinion, and everybody is entitled to have an opinion. Straight.
But you know, be clear. Our job does not change per who is in any particular office. It doesn't change in who's in the city hall of any city, who's in the county seat, and then who's in the state houses, who's in the federal houses. Our job don't change. Our job is the same. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a candidate we support or not, especially if it's a candidate we support, and then if they're not doing right, we're gonna stay on top of them. So our job don't change. We just keep, and yes, I'm voting for God too. Like, yo, I mean, real talk, like, again, as we said earlier, we could talk about what everyone else is doing. What I need to be hearing from my people, what are you going to do? What are you willing to do? You know, going to vote and then going to sleep for 4 years and then coming back and voting again. Yo, we need a year-round, grassroots, strategic political infrastructure. If you're not talking about that, you're just talking nonsense, and I'm not trying to hear you right now. 10 years we heard y'all, and every time somebody say they're gonna start a group, me, Damon, Bob, we there for the first few meetings, and they don't ever go nowhere. It's the same thing. Man, like, yo, like, so I don't even want to be going to no more meetings. But yo, it's time to mobilize and organize. It don't matter what nobody else is doing. If you can't tell me if we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, we can complain about AIPAC, we can complain about Trump, we can complain about anybody we want to complain about, but what are you doing for your community? What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Politics is a participatory sport. Complaining is not participating. Complaining, that's not participating. That's bitching and moaning. And y'all been doing, and y'all been and y'all been doing that for years. And let me ask you a question: for all of y'all who've been doing that, where'd that get you? Maybe it's trying to start something else. And Bob is back, and Bob is always saying, we lack organization and we fail due to lack. Right. And we fail. Right. We about to see a dead party in a minute. But the Democrats, the way of the Democratic Party is about to be dead. But if they don't get their head out their ass. But yo, it's time to step up, yo. Real talk. We need action. We need people that's going to do something. We need people that's going to support. And if you're not going to be, everybody's not going to be in the front lines. Everybody's not going to be the ones to be outspoken. Support the ones who are. That is the biggest thing you can do. Support those who are out there doing the work. If you're not doing it. Hey, Bob, I see you back.
Right. No, I'm sorry I missed out on so much of the conversation. I apologize to the audience. Unfortunately, I had some unexpected matter that I had to attend to. But listen, I mean, no matter, there's just some basic core elements that we need to focus on. I think you guys hit it on the head. I mean, unfortunately, it sounds like we keep on repeating ourselves to no avail for years now. But being better organized is the key. We have to include that organization, not just for elections, but between elections. And some of that is we do the social movement stuff. We mobilize. We have, collective actions. It could be militant. It could be protest oriented. But some of it has also got to be focused on trying to figure out how to translate the broad legislation that was passed under the Biden-Harris administration into real concrete advances for our communities. Listen, part of the problem is that even though my view is that most of the economic indicators have improved considerably under Joe Biden, with the exception of inflation, which I don't think is entirely under his control and has a lot to do with monopolistic corporate practices. But more importantly, developing new pathways to emerging middle-class jobs is something that is not going to occur just as a result of the ups and downs of the economic cycle. Developing jobs requires a more entrepreneurial approach. And if we're going to develop jobs that are going to fill in the gap for missing jobs, good paying jobs in our communities, that means we've got to be willing to do the work as community organizers, as social entrepreneurs, to get some of this money. And I'm telling you, it's millions and millions of dollars. Listen, I just want to say, I'm going to repeat this. The coalitions we've been involved with for the past several years have applied for over $60 million in grant money. Now, we didn't ultimately, we're not given an award, but just the numbers themselves, to think that we could apply for such a sizable grant, and that was just basically for one city, Yonkers. In Westchester County as a whole, we've got six municipalities that are home to large portions of the Black community, brown community. And, we're talking money that should be in the hundreds of millions of dollars that if we're able to organize ourselves, we could well vie for, possibly get, and demonstrate that the kind of political program that we've been backing translates into policies that are going to improve people's lives. And until we're able to do that, I think our pleas as independent-minded, political advocates, organizers, is going to fall on deaf ears in the same way that the pleas for support for the party that's supporting the most progressive policies continue to fall on deaf ears. So, I'm hoping that somehow we're going to figure out a way to do that as we regroup and try to reconsolidate our efforts for the next 2 years going forward.
Absolutely. I want to thank all the people. I'm just scrolling through comments right now. Some that we had on the screen, some that we didn't. Thank you for all the comments, all the supportive comments, all the congratulatory comments that we're getting on the different social media. We started out just on inthemix.com and then eventually started streaming on Facebook. And now we are streaming live on Facebook, LinkedIn, X, YouTube, Instagram, and pretty soon any other format that allows us to stream. We're going to be streaming everywhere, and we're reaching people with the new streaming. X has brought a whole new audience. LinkedIn brings a different audience, and we appreciate everybody who followed us and checked us out on any format. Tell a friend and tell a friend, and of course, you will catch all the old shows on the Black Westchester YouTube page and on blackwestchester.com, where all the shows are archived, and you can check out any of the conversations we even have in any of the 400 shows. There's a lot, go back and see what you missed. If you watch it on YouTube, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. That is very important. Hit the subscribe button so you can see every time we got a new show or we putting out a new video. You'll be up on it. And follow, support, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Leave comments. I want to hear from you. Go ahead, Bob.
I just want to emphasize, AJ, that when Black Westchester applies for grants, loans, any kind of new business ventures, prospective partners want to get a gauge of what the reach of the audience is. And one way that we can ensure that they're going to get, the best possible impression is for everyone who tunes in to actually subscribe. That is something that can be documented and that can be included as part of the measure of Black Westchester's audience and outreach. And so I want to encourage people, even if you can't take out a paid subscription for Black Westchester, by subscribing to the various social media platforms, you demonstrate to would-be partners that, you're one of the people whose attention it regularly receives. I think Damon had mentioned a couple of weeks ago, we're living in the attention economy, and we need to be able to demonstrate that people are paying attention to Black Westchester. So the more people subscribe and formally sign up to participate, the more effective the program looks. So I want to encourage people to do that.
And the more, the algorithms, the more you subscribe, right, the more you watch, the more you share, the more you comment, the more available this is on YouTube and other formats. It's the algorithm. So, you feeding them algorithms with every comment, with every like, with every subscription, with every share. So do that. If you rock with us and that's what you do that. It don't cost you nothing to do that.
Right.
Yeah. I'm going to, Bob, I'm going to send you the outline too, but
okay.
I'm about to create a website, which is the I'm going to call it the Black Agenda Project.
Okay.
And we're going to outline a whole Black agenda, and we're just going to keep it up there. So Black people can have an agenda. We don't have an agenda. Like, we really don't. Like, the Democrats have given Black people an agenda that is not ours. And I'm being honest. And what I saw in this last election, people rather be pro-Israel than be pro-Black. Black folks. Right? They had websites that said community first, community before party. They made it clear what their mission was about. We're still unclear, right? And this is why every 6 months they could give us something that we go crazy about, right? Project 2025, and the next by election time is going to be something else, right? I don't care. I don't care about what some white guy says down south. I don't. I want to make sure that our interests are being fed, and we cannot have our interests fed if we don't have a concrete agenda. National Action Network has not produced an agenda. NAACP has not produced an agenda, right? They I don't even know what happened to Tavis Smiley, because he's the only one that actually put an agenda and put it in a book.
And he was looked at and criticized by some of our brothers and sisters for doing so.
Exactly, for doing so. And he literally put it in the book. And I think I got to go on Amazon and see if I can find that thing again. It had Barack Obama on the cover in some type of design, but from his conferences and from his panels, he made a agenda, or it's called a promise or something. But we don't, black people, we don't have an agenda. We don't know what we want. We want what white folks tell us what we should have. And I'm talking to all the sororities and fraternities and the Masons and everybody. When do we stand on our square and say this is what black people, this is our agenda? Remember Ice Cube had the agenda, and they ridiculed him.
Well, you know, in formulating agendas, it's very important to know your history. You know, I took a close look. I think Brother Cube earned some of that criticism, but the larger point is that we need an agenda.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is all the people that
ultimately I'm
right.
saying you're right. At least he had an agenda.
Right. All the people that criticized them didn't come up with shit.
Right. And we shouldn't be. That's this. What you're saying, Bob? Like, you know, what his agenda was. We're looking. It took an entertainer, a rapper, to put forth an agenda that our black leaders who are more qualified did not do. So you can't criticize the rapper for trying to do something when the black leadership is not doing it. You open yourself up to Cubes and whoever putting things through because our black leadership who was supposed to do that is not doing it. There's the problem right there. So instead of criticizing Ice Cube, where's your, I'm talking to the black leadership, where is your black agenda for us? Where? You know what I'm saying? You can't criticize, you ain't even doing nothing.
I'm gonna
that is the reality.
For everybody.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I saw when I was in Georgia, right? There was a famous strip club, and they put a sign up in front that whatever for lap dances, and they were taking that money and raising toys, giving toys to the hood. And churches and everybody was criticizing them. But guess what? The churches and all the people, the black leaders who were criticizing them wasn't doing that. I'm not advocating for strip clubs, but how you going to judge them? No, seriously. How are you going to judge them for giving stuff, food and toys and stuff to the poor in our community that nobody's doing it for? If our black leadership was doing it, the strip club wouldn't have had to do it.
Exactly.
That's my point. Exactly. I'm not advocating for strip clubs, but I'm just saying though, we so ready to point to someone who's not, we feel like not worthy to do something that you're not doing.
Right. Trying to, did I zoom it in? So
yeah.
So what?
Yo, hold up. Whoever this dude, the guys, whatever, slow down, son. We got your message, but stop blowing up the comment section. Real talk.
No. Let him keep going, man. That's all algorithm, bro. Let him keep commenting, bro. You crazy. He helping our algorithm. Like you comment all you want.
Oh, I'm sorry. She said, "I'm not a dude. My apology."
No, you can comment all you want. Don't listen to AJ. So listen, this is what accountable, making America as good as its promise. So it says it provides a real life example of how crucial issues, including healthcare, education, the economy, unequal justice, and the environment, manifest themselves in our community. The book demonstrates the urgent need to hold politicians and ourselves responsible because the stakes has never been higher. Accountable examples, the present day conditions and consequences for America. At its core, this book is a tool which the community can evaluate the success and failures of its political leaders and of itself. This insightful book acknowledges the mistakes of the past while offering hope and inspiration for a better future. When Tavis Smiley came out this book, and it's on Amazon, and it's $11. $11 damn dollars. Y'all could not buy a bottle of rosé, and you could still buy a bottle of rosé, and you could buy this book. So the whole thing is this: when Tavis Smiley came out with that book, that's when they went after him. That's when they went, and we ain't seen Tavis Smiley since. And that book was out. We ain't seen that Negro since, and that was 2000. That was 2009, and it was publisher. It was published by Simon and Schuster. We ain't seen that Negro since. He ain't been on PBS. He been ghost because he wanted America to hold his promise. What did Martin Luther King Jr. say? Right when it wasn't the "I have a dream" speech. It was about financial. He said that America did what? That check that they wrote black people bounced.
It was insufficient funds. Right.
Yeah, insufficient funds, bounced, same damn thing. And then they switched it to put us in some multiverse and dreaming, when he was talking about reality on what America owed black people. Now, once again, Tavis Smiley is talking about, y'all got to keep your promise. 40 acres and a mule, all that stuff. They ain't giving us nothing. And then we vote for someone who wants to talk about, and I'm talking about George Lattimore, that we have to study reparations and pull up a bill that was the bill that was written by a man that's been dead for years, John Conyers. So we have to have an agenda. Reparations has to be on that agenda. Everybody else got reparations but us. Indians got reparations, Chinese got reparations, but black folks.
Here you go. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on its promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring their sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check, a check that has come back marked insufficient funds.
Absolutely.
That's the exact quote. And in the so-called "I Have a Dream" speech, which that wasn't the name of the speech.
Absolutely.
Oh, damn, we lost Damon. What happened?
Yeah, he faded out.
Yeah. So, episode 400, people. Thank you all for tuning in. Yo, we greatly appreciate it. We had a lot of other people. I mean, it was last minute. A lot of other people wanted to chime in. In a couple of weeks, we're celebrating the 10-year anniversary. So we're going to continue the celebration. You know what I'm saying? Over the next couple of weeks. The first week in August is the actual 10-year anniversary. So from now to then, we're going to celebrate.
Yeah, we're going to put all together the 10-year anniversary with the 40 over 40 celebration. That we all that's going to be in one. We're going to do the 10-year anniversary gala, and it's also we're going to celebrate the 40 over 40 young Black people in Westchester who's doing the damn thing. And all that's going to be
40 over 40 or 40 under 40?
40 under 40.
Nah, because I was getting ready to get excited, Joe. I'm like, listen, I'm dead.
Yeah. It's 40 under 40.
Man.
It's 40 under 40. 40 under 40. It's going to be early next year. We're taking nominations up until like September something. I'll resend out the link to everybody who's interested. Share it with everybody. We're taking nominations, and the nomination committee will go through all the names, and we'll come up with the 40.
And I got to correct something. The brother's name from New Rochelle was Napoleon Holmes.
Napoleon Holmes, and I wanted to say that, but I wasn't sure.
Big shout out to Napoleon Holmes. He was a god among men. He was a business owner. He was the president of the NAACP out there, and he had no quarrels for speaking truth to power. And I think I don't know, man. We really got to figure out something with the pastors, man. We got to see what's going on.
I got to know him really good the last few years. He went to my church, St. Catherine, AME Zion Church, right there where Jarrell Garris got killed in front of. And one of the things I said, we think that these people are going to live forever. One of the things I fought myself, and me and Damon used to have this conversation forever, we're letting our elders die with all that knowledge. We need to pick their brains now. You know what I'm saying? Because we're fighting some of the same fights. Let's get all that knowledge. And for the younger people, those our age that's doing it, y'all need to grab on, because we ain't going to be here forever either. You know what I'm saying? We got to stop letting our elders die with all the knowledge, and then we starting all over trying to figure it out again. You know what I'm saying? And that was one of the things personally that drives me with what we do with Black Westchester, is because, I was with him the last couple of years, and, I never thought that he wouldn't be here forever. And I let him go with a lot of this. I wish I had picked his brain more, because he was a wealth of knowledge.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, we gotta do what we gotta do, and we have to honor our elders and understand. Damn, my light went out. And understand.
Shout out to people like Jim Jubilee and those cats that's been holding it down forever. And I'm telling you, you better. He ain't gonna be here forever. Y'all got access to him. Pick his brain. Sit at his feet. Listen, learn what you can learn from him. You know what I'm saying? We gotta stop. We gotta stop that. So, that's something we all talk about all the time. But we coming to the close of the show. Bob, any last words? Episode 400, going into the 10-year anniversary. Anything?
I mean, I'm just gearing up to celebrate, AJ. I don't have too many good reasons to celebrate. Black Westchester's upcoming milestone is certainly one that's gonna make me put on my glad rags, as my parents used to say. So I'm looking forward to it, and also to doing some of the behind the scenes organizing that we've been talking about. I'm looking forward to joining with you and Damon and so many others in the broad progressive community here in Westchester to figure out what we can do to strengthen, our effectiveness in the political and civic sphere. So that's really it, man. For me personally, on a personal note.
That's what's up, yo. Not sure where Damon went, but I'm about to get up out of here too. We can keep complaining. We can keep complaining, or we can get together and galvanize and organize a real grassroots strategic political infrastructure, our year-round infrastructure, not just coming together and just so to make my point, Lorraine got on here not knowing what we was talking about and said the same thing about the Latino community.
Woke up looking for the broccoli. Hot key, keep a horn.
Okay.
I wonder what in the world Damon is doing over here.
Get off, I get off at my feet.
All right, hit that for they copyright us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
You know,
one
Facebook,
of your new joints, D?
No, because Facebook, if you to play it too long, Facebook and some of them will cut you off for copyright infringement.
Right. All right.
Yeah. But
Yo, that's one of your new releases, AJ?
Hey, look. Hey, look.
Yes.
Black Power always bring out the ignorant white folks. Black Power always bring out. Thank you for commenting, because the only thing you're doing,
it's just showing. Yeah, that's foolishness right there.
Thank you for commenting, sweetheart. Keep commenting, and because you're just helping the algorithm.
And it ain't just white people. There's a lot. Sometimes it's some of our own people. You know what I'm saying? They're like, you know, them house Negroes that just be like, oh, you messing it up for all of us.
Yeah. It's just ignorance. But thank you for commenting, sister. Keep on commenting. I love it.
No doubt. Yo, my battery's about to die.
Well, whatever you are, you're ignorant. Have a good day, baby.
My battery's about to die in 2-3 seconds. So, I just want to say my goodbye now.
A good note to close.
They don't want you to have a platform. Well, you know, this ain't that kind of show. You might get away with that stuff on all them other shows.
She in timeout now. She all right.
Yo, but listen, this ain't that kind of show, honey. Yo, you're not gonna come on here and and you ain't gonna intimidate us and stop us from speaking our truth. You don't have to agree. You don't have to listen. But you know what I'm saying? We gonna keep. This ain't that kind of show. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be clear on that for all the haters out there. This ain't that kind of show.
Hey, even our brother our sister snap out of it. You dig. Thank you for coming on the show. And,
absolutely.
Please
make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Please subscribe. Thank you for coming on the show.
Freedom of speech. Yes, yo. Before I officially lose all my battery in the phone, I just want to say peace. Thank you for everybody who held us down for the first 400 episodes. Yo, thank you for everybody who rode with Black Westchester, people before politics that played any role. Because you see me and Damon and Bob and others.
Hold on. Hey, Charles, you there, man?
Oh. Charles Stern.
Charles, you there?
Maybe his mic's not on. Maybe he didn't connect yet.
Maybe he walked away. I just saw him, man. I was over here messing around with that fool.
Oh, yeah. Because I told him if he wanted to come on, because he was texting me a whole bunch of, 400 episode, congratulations, all that. Hey, I said, Joe, you want to say a couple of words? And I sent them a link. Yeah, I sent them a couple of links. And my laptop battery started to die too, so I'm not even on the laptop where I can see everybody in the comments. I mean, on the back. Oh. So. But just in case I lose everybody.
You know what? We bring Charles back on next week.
Right, that's what I said. We celebrating because the first week of August is the 10-year anniversary show. Yeah. So we just gonna celebrate from now to then. So, yo, thank you for everybody who hold it down. You see me and Damon, you see Bob, you see others, but yo, there's a whole coalition of people behind us that have contributed something, including Charles Stern and some of the people that you've seen on today. And they've been rocking with us because they believe in us. And we couldn't have did it without all of you. We are only here still because of all of you. So spread the word, subscribe, share, like, and all that. And make sure you comment too. With that, that's my last words. Y'all go ahead. I'm about to die.
This is 400 show. We've been doing it. We've been doing it for a while, man. We started, as AJ said, I started up in think it was Saturday or Sunday morning, man. I was getting off work at 7
o'clock. Blog Talk or something. Blog Talk.
And I was on Blog Talk, and some of the guests I had, man, I was not under control.
Yeah. Because I was on one day from Atlanta. And you nodded off. I had to take it over the show. Like you was out.
Yo, I used to nod right up. Yo, that was the most crazy thing. But we still did it, man. And it was great. And to see where we are today and watch how technology even changed, in these 10 years, how it was crazy. It was, Blog Talk, then, YouTube jumped in, and then it's just amazing how technology changed. And I think we have to utilize this, right? We have to be independent. You know, a lot of people, you got a lot of black shows that are not independent. You have a lot of
not even black owned. BET, Black Entertainment Television, is not black owned.
I'm not even. Listen, man. Like I'm even focusing on what's that show on whatchamacallit?
Oh damn, that was it.
The whatever, man. Like we you know when Trump when Trump said black jobs, when they're rich like that. And Bob, we talked about it. You know, we have black radio hosts that are working for white companies. I want to say that again. We got black radio hosts that are working for white companies, and they're only going to be allowed to say certain things because that white company has an agenda. And if you watch especially D.L. Hughley, what is this dude posting? Like it's complete propaganda. It's complete propaganda without addressing the actual issues that are at hand. And I think we have to begin to look at that, and that's why we need more independent media, black independent media. And you know, and thanks to YouTube and thanks to, you know, a lot of people that's out here doing their thing. You know, we have to push back against this. I'm not saying telling people who to vote for. I tell black people to vote for your interests. Just vote for your interests. And I think we will be okay, Bob. If we just
more interest, I think we would. I agree with you. We would be okay if people just voted for. Yes, yeah, that would be a marked improvement.
Exactly, but we're scared to say that, right? We're scared to say, "Yo, I'm voting for black interest." You know, no, you can't say that. You can't say that, but other people say it. They make it clear what they're voting for. Except black people, we're scared to say we're voting for black interests. We're you know, I mean. Look, John Conyers wrote H.R. 40 damn near 20 years ago. And that was just to study reparations. And you got people like George Lattimore supporting something that was 20 years old. We don't have to study. Like if he really believed we had to study reparations, then he wouldn't put June 19th into law as a national, as a county holiday. So you recognize that we were slaves. You recognize we were slaves because you signed June 19th as a county holiday. So how would you turn around and say, well, we got to study reparations? See, this is what black people.
Well, yeah,
we get fooled. We get fooled into the nonsense. Oh, Bob left, but I got my brother Henry Terry. What's up, brother?
What's going on, good brother?
Yo, man, thanks for tuning in, man. We was about to cut off, man. I don't know what happened to Charles Stern.
Well, I'm glad I made it before the doors closed.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. What's up?
Everything is everything. I got the message from Pop, so I had to make sure I jumped on.
Thank you, man. We appreciate it. Oh, I think Dr. Bob's coming back on. Yeah, man, we appreciate it, man. And thanks for your support. Thanks for Pastor Willer's support, you know, and thanks, you know, for the church sticking behind some of my radical agendas.
Man, you have the full support of the Mount Calvary Promise Church family, brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
I, Henry Terry's minister from the pulpit, and I'm here to state so.
Thank you. Thank you. At least I know I could. I know I could count on the Promise Church.
Absolutely.
Might not be any other church, but I could count on the Promise Church.
we got
Head, what up? It's good to see you, baby.
What's up, Bob? What's going on, good brother? Dr. Bob, excuse me. How you
Listen,
doing?
man, come on, man. We go way back, man. Stop that with me, yo.
Absolutely. We go back.
Good to see
still a student.
you,
That's
man.
right.
Good to see you. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. You remember that. Good to see you, brother.
My brothers, yes.
No, but thank you, man. And moving forward, man, we gotta mobilize. We gotta start mobilizing our people to get them to the polls. This election has shown that we really got to get back to basics. Oh, Charles Stern is back in. We really got to get back to basics and mobilizing people for marginalized communities to get out. We just can't let them, just be so disenfranchised that they don't want to take part. And even if they don't want to come out to the vote, we need to get them absentee ballots. Hey, Charles, what's happening?
How about now? You guys able to hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, finally. Sorry for the technical.
No, it's okay, man. Thank you for coming.
You know what SNAFU stands for, right?
No, I just heard. I know the word.
Okay. It stands for seems normal, all something else. I ran into one of those. Listen, congratulations on 400 incredible episodes. I don't know how you do it. That's an enormous amount of internet programming. 400 episodes, and a lot of them are probably more than an hour, so that's probably 500 or 700 hours of news analysis, interviews, discussion groups, incredible. So congratulations, guys, on that. It's a big achievement.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate it, man, and we appreciate your support. We appreciate Pastor Terry's support, man, and we're just trying to do the work for the people, man, and just give the information, and let people decide, where they want to go, but we do believe, Black Westchester was started around a police brutality case because we felt that News 12 and the Journal News wasn't given the full story. You can't, give the full story in a 30-second news clip. And then, some writers have different agendas, man. It is what it is. So we decided to start off a police brutality case, and then from there it just grew into what we have today. And I think, all our ups and downs, it has been a blessing, and we just trying to do it and keep the people informed the best way we can, man. And we thank God that we're able to have these type of apparatus and technology to make it easier to reach the people.
You really you've harnessed that power. There's a low barrier to entry with internet. With you mentioned Blog Talk Radio. I remember when you were on there, and I remember using that platform. It was complicated. You had to explain to people how it worked. They had to download an app in order to see it. Facebook made things a little bit easier. YouTube made things a little bit easier. You alluded to that. But you know what? At the end of the day, you've got a popular show because you went out and you curated that audience. You found your audience. You speak to the issues of that audience. You understand that audience. And that's why you've been able to build a really big following over the years. And I hope it continues to grow and grow and grow. And that we'll be out here talking about your 1000th show.
Yes. We're working hard, man. And I continue to want to do it, whether it's, on my personal, books and stuff like that, or doing through Black Westchester with AJ and his books, we're going to continue to, I believe this is one of my callings.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier in tonight's conversation, you mentioned LOHUD and the Journal News a couple times.
Right.
What is that relationship? Because sometimes you talk about things on here and then they end up in LOHUD a week later, a month later, 3 weeks later. Other times you talk about things that are in LOHUD. So
right.
How do you connect with those guys? Do you know them?
Well, yeah. I mean, I had a relationship with LOHUD when from being in Blacks in Law Enforcement of America. And we used to have different press conferences about police brutality cases.
Right.
And also dealing with union issues up at the county jail. So I always had a relationship with a lot of the reporters there, and I still have some that left and went on to the New York Post and here and there. And I think oh my God, one of the he's gonna kill me, man. For right now, I can't even think of his name, but did a great article about police brutality, and he was really they interviewed me and Kenneth Chamberlain, you know, and one thing somebody said of me in the article, that what I was saying back then, and this was after the George Floyd killing, you know, they thought I was crazy, but I was right. You know, so it just come Mark Lunglow. There we go, Mark Lunglow. Now he works for Fox News, and we still have and we still have a relationship. You know, I still share like articles I write and articles we put out. I still send it to him. You know, right. and he sends me and he sends me different articles, so we could just keep abreast in what's going on. But you know, the paper was started around me having press conferences, and you get a 30-second clip on News 12, or some articles in LOHUD I felt wasn't doing justice to the victims. You know, and AJ was up here, and when the case of the the 4 black probation officers that were doing a home check excuse me, that's my wife making noise in the background.
Oh, I barely noticed.
They were doing a home check with bulletproof vests on, with that says New York State probation. They had their badges around their neck. They were driving in a New York State car, and they got guns pulled out on them. Somebody called the cops on them because they saw 4 black people with guns and bulletproof vests, and I don't understand why. How can they not see the badges? So they got pulled over, and we're still trying to figure out how when they ran the plate, it didn't come back from the state. You know, so they ended up putting on the ground with guns pulled out on them until one of the cops recognized one of the probation officers. You know, that would have been a scary situation. So their lawyer, Benita Zellman, which I've worked with on numerous cases throughout New York, had a press conference, and AJ was up here, and that was the first story of Black Westchester. You know, because I had started, you know, back then YouTube was very young, right? So I started recording. I've started recording the press conferences. I started recording the press conferences and putting it on YouTube because, you know, I really needed to get our word out, and so people could hear the full press conference. We had to learn to do certain things, right?
Right.
We had to learn to make sure that the victim, right? There's an art with press conferences. Make sure the victim goes last, because if you put the victim first, once the victim speak, the press is gone. They're gone. So whatever organizations that support the victim, whatever people that support organizations, pastors, you know, they 9 times out of 10, won't even have that in the report if you put the victim first. So those are the things I had to learn, you know. But then when you watch the news report, it's still a clip. And then if there's a response and the response is untrue, you're not even able to respond to the response. So our whole thing was to put Blacks in Law Enforcement was to put the video up on YouTube. And so the people can watch it. And then, you know, Facebook was in its early stage, YouTube was in its early stage, you know, and even websites was in its early stage.
Right.
So
you created your own platform to
yes,
talk about these issues, and then it
yes,
kind of grew from there, and then eventually the talk show and the newspaper,
right,
and
right.
then you know, all of a sudden, before you know it, you got this whole platform where you could bring stories like this Kenneth Chamberlain Sr. story. You've covered that extensively. And I don't think I'm out on a limb here to say that story might have not have gotten the kind of attention that it did had it not been for Black Westchester over the years.
Well, I mean, yeah, and it was personal. You know, Kenneth Chamberlain Sr. was a retired correction officer from Westchester County, which they didn't talk about that a lot in the average press. They talked about his military career, but he was also in law enforcement. And I worked the same building that he worked in, and I knew people, you know, at work that worked with Kenny's father. And me and Kenny was long-term friends. You know, Kenny always joked and say I was the son that, you know, his father wanted because I went into the Marine Corps and I got into corrections, right? Just like his father did, right? So
Kenny wasn't having none of that.
Exactly. Kenny wasn't having none of that, right?
I didn't realize you were an ex-Marine. That's this
Yeah.
I'm learning. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
man.
Okay. Well, that fills in the picture a little bit.
I just want to add. I want to add with everything he's saying. So I came back up from Atlanta, and I basically put a pin to his movement, and that became Black Westchester. Because he was already doing it, he just needed someone to articulate it, and I became the pin to his movement, and that was the beginning of Black Westchester.
It's a great story. It's a great story. It's filling a need. There's not nearly enough local news. There's not nearly enough news analysis, political commentary. There needs to be much, much more of this. So, AJ, you weren't here. I was sending a verbal bouquet and a congratulations on 400 episodes. And I was saying to Damon, given that a lot of these episodes were like 2 hours, that's, you know, you guys are probably pretty close. You're probably closer to 1,000 hours of programming than you realize.
Absolutely. And I just wanted, I had to get back on. My battery died, but I had to get back on and shout out my brother Henry. And I saw that you was trying to come on and you were texting me that you have a mic problem.
Yeah.
So I had to actually, as you can see, I'm outside. I'm outside. I'm actually poolside. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but
good place to be. You should be in the pool.
All my batteries died. You know what I'm saying? My laptop, my phone. I had to go near the house to plug in so I could get back on. So, but Damon was doing all this. Me and Damon had music companies back in the days, but Damon started getting into the political activism and all that. I was in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? And Damon got stronger and stronger with it, and basically was like, "Yo, I need you to run the camera." You know what I'm saying? At that press conference, it was parole officers, not probation, Damon. It was parole. It was 4 parole officers. But yeah, he had me videotape, and basically when he gave me the video, I wrote an article basically on my blog, just saying if it's not safe for them with their badges and their guns and their bulletproof vests with the company no parole on it and all that, if it ain't safe for them, what an average brother like me, what chance we got in the street? And that basically ended up being the first article of Black Westchester. And then, you know, Damon had all his connections, and you know, and then we just started doing the damn thing. And 10 years later, here we are. So, you know,
10 years, 400 episodes, and you're only just getting started.
Yeah, August 3rd, 2014 was episode 1. And Yonkers, in the studio in Yonkers. In the mix, shout out to DJ Cruz. It was his studio and everything. COVID shut that down, and then, you know, all the other shows didn't come back, so it didn't make sense for him to open up. And then he went on tour with Lisa as the tour DJ, so he wasn't even thinking about the studio no more. So
very talented guy.
Yeah, he gave us our start, and he let us, and he had everything we needed. The setup, all we had to do was just show up. All the setup, the mics, the cameras, and every time we come, there's different backgrounds, and there's all kinds of, he was always working on something. So I want to give him a shout out too, because he played a big role in our start in our 10 years. And
yeah, the Yonkers studio, that was a very interesting place. He had that place perfectly set up for people like you to come in and do shows. And they I don't think most of them were political shows. I think a lot of them were entertainment, more DJ oriented programming.
Absolutely. I got a call. I don't know if y'all lost me for a minute, but yeah, absolutely. And we ended up being his most consistent show too, because a lot of them came and went, and they put in a couple of years, and they was gone. And we had like 4 or 5 shows on Sunday, and then we was the only show on Sunday. Yeah, it was like, It was crazy.
It was a good spot, and you could have guests come in there pretty easily. But then post-pandemic, the whole world kind of got accustomed to this remote interview methodology, which you're using now, and that opens up options too, because you can have anybody come in anytime.
Right. You didn't have to be in New York and on a Sunday to be able to come through the studio. Now we catching people, they in LA, they in the city, they in Long Island, they wherever. And, we schedule them and bring them on. You know what I'm saying? So,
and as we see tonight, you can host it from other places too.
Yeah. If you're talking, Damon, your mic's off.
You can't tell. I'm sitting on the radio show, right?
Oh, okay. I don't know what you just said, but okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. People want to come home and give you orders like you ain't on a goddamn radio show.
Well, you know what? That became the joy of doing the thing at home. Now, Henry know where I live. I'm on South 7th Avenue, and I'm in the middle of the show, and 20 like dirt bikes and 4-wheelers start running down you can't even hear me for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, those are the joys. And you hear people shouting in the background at the house that, you know what I'm saying? Like those became the joys of doing it remotely, doing it at home.
I mean, God willing, there's plans to have a studio. We just got to see if certain things work out, but I really believe that Westchester, and I've talked about it with a lot of people, Westchester actually needs, a black-owned radio station. Whether it's virtual or whether it's an actual station. I would have loved to known that VOX was up for sale, right? Because I would have definitely reached out to some people to see if we could have bought VOX.
I drove by there. I think that building is, I don't know, I don't want to give half a report here, but I'm not clear what's going on there. I think they're constructing a new building or something on that site.
A church bought it.
Well, I know that the FM part, WVIP or whatever,
correct,
that one got sold, and I think maybe still broadcasting, but actual VOX. And who was I talking to? One of the guys that do the show every morning, the morning show, Don, whatever his name is. They just called him on a Wednesday night, said no need to come in tomorrow. We're closed.
Yeah. Oh, that's
like
how it was.
He was preparing for his show and everything, and that's how he found out. Like at night, getting ready to prepare for a show, and he was like, "Oh, no need to come in." And we were asking too about our next show, and they didn't tell us nothing about it being closed or nothing. So,
this is why Black Westchester is a jewel, because there's no local programming. There is zero local radio programming on VOX or VIP, whatever it is.
And we lost WFAS in Hartsdale that Bob Marone was on before he went back to VOX. They went straight sports, so we lost that too. Because we had two local talk that had a lot of talking, talk radio, but they closed first. Oh, they went straight sports, 24-hour sports. Then Bob Marone went back to VOX. Then he started his own thing, Radio 1 or something, that he was actually doing live out of New Rochelle train station, like literally there. Like,
I remember that.
Then I think he said he was moving to White Plains and he was coming back, and we don't know what happened with that. So we're kind of like the lone survivor right now, and trying to hold it down, and as Damon said, still trying to get it right, but representing the way we do. You know what I mean? And we thank all of y'all. Like I was saying earlier, I don't know if you heard, you one of those who co-hosted several shows. You came on, brought a different perspective, especially on like different elections and stuff. And you know what I mean? You brought another. It's always great to have different voices.
Well, AJ, thank you for saying that. I just appreciate that you guys have made the platform available and available to me from time to time, and it just I wish you all the luck in the world. As I said, I know you guys probably want to close out this show because you've been talking a lot tonight, so I'll get off the stage. But congratulations on 400 successful episodes. I'm looking forward to having this same conversation when you produce episode 1000.
Absolutely, and feel free to come back next week too. So
yeah, man,
it's a deal. Absolutely. It's plenty to talk about. By the way, if this Biden thing tilts in the direction that I think it's going to, you're going to have enough to talk about 24 hours a day until the beginning of November.
Look, Charles, man, I started off the show talking about it, and then they didn't want to talk about it. But you gotta come on next week, man, and we gotta talk about it, because I really think the Democrats, they got their back to the corner, and also I think people in the White House knew this. He just wasn't ready.
It was they planned it. That's the worst thing. It wasn't like Trump said we got a debate. It was his people, and his people need to be fired. You know what I'm saying? Because
wait a minute, dude, like. Remember what was that show with the Scandal, right? And her father, Papa Pope, right? I think this might have been planned to expose Biden, that his health was not right, to force the DNC to sit him down. I think this might have been planned, man. You never know with politics, right? Let's just be. You never know with politics.
No,
right?
That's true.
And there's always a Papa Pope that sits behind the scene that wields the power, right?
That we never see, we never heard of. We don't know who he is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, there's a great scene with him and his daughter. He's like, "I am the hail and the wind." And he told his daughter that you're going to get on this plane. You had an affair with the president. You're out of here.
Yeah, I think the original sin here is that the Democrats did not have any meaningful or any primary challenge whatsoever. Exactly. I think that is when this whole thing truly began to wobble, and they never fully recovered from it. Because had they done that, it would have made Biden stronger. It would have erased the issues, or the issues would have come up and been addressed then.
Right.
But this is going to be very complicated to recover now. It's going to be.
Yeah, they all just got in line and backed him. And it wasn't that I didn't want to talk about it. It was like we were talking about it for 20 minutes. I wanted to celebrate the 400th anniversary. I didn't want it to be the show to be about that. But we will talk about. There'll be plenty for us to talk about. I just didn't want the whole 400th episode to be about that. I wanted to be a celebration about us.
You know what's ironic? Trump is silent
for the first time ever. Right.
But that's
when everybody should be worried.
No, that's a chess move. Let them work it out. He's going to just continue to do his thing, because that's a chess move. And finally Trump shows some discipline, because he's silent on that. He's not saying anything. And I think we're in trouble, man. That's all I got to say. We're in trouble.
Well, I'll be happy to come back and talk about it a little bit more next week. Again, guys, congratulations! And it looks like AJ may have run out of batteries.
Yeah, AJ's back. Yeah.
No. I hit the wrong button by mistake. Henry, I'm on my phone and everybody's texting me.
I'll catch you next week, guys. Thank you.
Hey, Brother Henry, man, thank you for coming on, man. We appreciate you. We love you, brother. Tell Pops we said what's up. He could have came on. He could have got his behind.
Yeah, because I sent him the link earlier.
Yeah, he's a little little under the weather, but he definitely wanted.
Yo, you better tell him stop eating all that bad food, man. I know what's going on, man. You better start he better some fruits and vegetables, man. I don't understand.
I think he needs you to pay him a visit. I think
I'm gonna beat him up, and I'm gonna bring him a big bowl of salad and just make him eat some vitamins, man.
Kind of force feed him. But I'm definitely here is number 2 in
we appreciate it.
Representation of the entire Promise Church family. You guys spoke about the Kenneth Chamberlain Sr. thing earlier. He was a deacon in our church.
That's right.
Right.
That for us was personal as well, man. And one of the reasons that we had to make sure that we were there to support you guys. And then you guys I can't even say that you guys were like supportive, man. You guys were kind of like the wind between Kenneth Jr.'s wings, man. You guys kept him up, kept him afloat, and kept him moving forward in that fight, man. So, for us, man, the Promise family will always love you guys because you fought for one of our own. You stood up and became the voice for one of the voices that they tried to silence, and just wasn't able to, because you guys became the siren for his voice to come through. So, the Promise family will always love and support you guys, man.
I gotta give props to Pops, man. I know everybody was supposed to do a video for his birthday or whatever it was, and I ain't do one. But I'm gonna just say what I said last year. He is definitely the definition of a miracle. I remember when the doctor told him basically he had weeks and he could barely speak and barely stand. And a year or so later, he did that episode. He did that last year. He did he was able to sing, dance, and do all the stuff. And he's definitely the definition of a miracle and the living example of faith, because he didn't believe what the doctors told him. He believed God had more for him to do, and he held on. But he do need to eat better, and I'm talking to somebody who working on it that myself. He need to stop. Even when he went on vacation overseas, the first place he went to was McDonald's. He actually posted it on social media. I was like, yo, dude, why you all that food? Why you eating McDonald's?
In McDonald's in Europe.
You in Paris or somewhere? Why is McDonald's your first stop? Like, yo, word up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Damon, I need you to stay on him, brother.
I definitely am, man. I definitely am going to stay on him, man. He get tired of me texting him. I'm going to text him tonight. Like, yo, make sure you eat some vegetables, man.
That's right. We got to
With that, we're going to wrap it up, man. Yeah. This has been Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show, episode number 400, baby. We still here, we still standing, and we just coming stronger and bigger than ever. And the only other thing I wanted to say, the next issue of the paper's coming out soon. Friday is your last day to advertise. If you want to advertise in the next issue, make sure the next issue comes out. Hit us at blackwestchestermag@gmail.com or blackwestchester@gmail.com. Got till Friday, get your ad and for the next issue. That's it for me. I'm out.
And thanks to all the people on X, on YouTube, on Facebook, for tuning in.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, No, we didn't do. Did I do LinkedIn?
You did, because I shared it from your page to Black Westchester page. Yeah.
It doesn't show up. It doesn't show up on the list. But thanks to all the people, man. Man, X is really blowing up on watching the show, and that's great. So please, we'll be back next Sunday at 6 p.m. Black Westchester Magazine, People Before Politics show. The news with the Black point of view. Peace out, y'all.
22 million Black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. Today, look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. And are not afraid to say it. And are not